afternoon, Rainmakers. It's Priyan here on another podcast where we bring you real life examples of what's happened in my life, whether it be in real estate or just generally what's happened in my life as a whole. So I think I want to take you back in order of something that has happened in my life, and the one major incident that really sort of helped me understand about life as a whole. And the main thing about it is it made me understand about living your real passion and joy and why it's so important. Whether you fail at it or not, to me, it's the journey and the experience that you get from it that can be used later, which is the important factor. Like, for example, I know a lot of people, once they lose a game, they sort of say it's the participating that counts. But to me, that really is the truth. And the reason I say that is true is, for example, I play Monopoly with a friend. I love Monopoly, by the way. Not sure why. Maybe because it's real estate branded. But I play Monopoly and it's the joking around, the excitement, you know, trying to get that space, the negotiation, the whole process that happens that gets my juices going and gets me really sort of into the game. Once the game's over, regardless of whether I won or lost, it's over and I feel a bit down and I want to start again. If I lose, people are like, oh, are you not upset now? Nah, 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 nah. Well, I'm like, well, not really. Good luck, well done. But let's play again. And they're like, what, again? And I'm like, yeah, because the joy and the fun of it is the participation. Because once you've won, yes, you may get a cup. Yes, you may get some accolade and some money or some sort of gratification in terms of that you've done something super amazing, but then it's over. It's finished. You can look at the cup and you can try and sort of recall the memory, but the actual feeling, the excitement, the journey, the enthusiasm, the banter, the places where you tried to take a risk or not, paid off or it didn't, the strategizing, that's what gets me going, and that's what you should also focus on. It's not about achieving the end goal, it's about the journey that you take in between. And the reason I come to this is because life as a whole sets you up on a journey. You know, society as a whole sets you up on a journey. You're born, you go to school at 5 years old, you then carry on until you're 12 and you go to high school. Then at 12 to 16, you do your O-levels or GCSEs, then you do your A-levels, then you do university, and then you basically go to work, and then you have children, get married, then you have children, and then you die. Now, that vision that they have isn't your vision, that's society's vision. But everybody gets the same vision. Now, everybody aren't the same, are you? You're not the same person. You're not the thing. So why are people giving this vision out? Who is giving this vision out? Who says that's the right vision? If I don't want to go to school or my parents don't want to send me to school and they want to homeschool me, oh, that's illegal. What? It's illegal? What? Why can't I send my son to homeschool? Oh, it's illegal. You've got to send him to school. Why is it illegal? Why? Because it's illegal because of the fact that they want the mum and dad to work to make, run the economy and run somebody else's business. And so therefore they can't work if the kid's at home. So therefore he has to go to school. Just think about it. At the end of the day, it's like, you know, that path is set for you, but it's not the path that you need to follow. And I think social media and the way we live now is so different that there are so many different ways you can live, you can earn money, you can travel, and because of social media, there are people show you what you can do and how you can do it, whereas before it was all set in stone. And the reason I say this story is because my life was set out like that. So I went to school, I went to university, and then I went and did a telesales job initially where I made good money. But when I was about 10 years old, I wanted to be a stock trader. I loved doing stocks and shares and stuff. And I asked my parents, and they used to tell me, and my friends and family members, don't be a stock trader, don't be silly, you know, you'll burn out. Nobody said to me you'll burn out being happy and also making a lot of money. They just said I'd burn out. So I'd be like, okay, fine, I'm getting told this, told this, told this. So in the end, I let my aspirations go and I didn't follow it. I went on to, I was going to be an accountant. Luckily for me, during my university years, I had 2 years of studies, and I had the third year to actually work as an accountant. Then I had to go back to uni. Lucky for me, I had that third year, because when I went into an accountancy firm, no disrespect to accountants, but it wasn't for me. You come up with the same answer, it's the same thing, it's very mundane, you sit at your desk. Yes, I'm a mathematician and a statistical guy and logical, but it didn't inspire me. So luckily I had that third year where I did that, so therefore once I finished university, I didn't pursue a career in accountancy. Now say for example I didn't have a gap year and I did 3 years of university, then I would have had 3 years of university and then gone into an accountancy firm, then I would have been earning money, then I would have had rent to pay and a mortgage to pay maybe, and then I may have been stuck in the job because of the fact that I thought that if I left it I wouldn't have any money, and what else am I going to do now because I'm a qualified accountant, and so therefore then I would have maybe taken a totally different path. So luckily for me that happened in the way it did, and so therefore I was able to follow a different path, which was sales. When I went into sales, I was good at it. I'm a natural born salesman, as they say. The funny joke at my family said that you'd even be able to sell your grandmother if you could. And I said, well, I'm not going to sell my grandmother, but yes, I am a great salesman. Some of them used to say you could even sell ice to the Eskimos. And I said, of course I can, because all the ice around can't be used because of the fact that it's all hard and all grittly. So you would need a freezer so that you could take it out and get some nice ice cubes and put it in your drink and drink. And they go, I told you so, you could sell ice to the ice cream. I said, no, I'm not selling them ice, I'm selling them the fridge, which then gives them the ice, because otherwise if I try to sell them the ice, they have ice all around and they're not going to buy it. So you've got to think naturally. Anyway, going back to the point. So I wanted to be a stock trader and I couldn't be. Eventually, after trading spread betting and stuff, I decided myself to be a trader. So I left my job. Before I left my job though, I asked my parents whether I'm going to do this, and none of them supported me. None of them said it was a good idea. All of them said I was crazy. Even my friends and family members like my sister and brother. Why? Because they didn't know any better, and so therefore they were just being honest. They were just being like, you know, you're so successful already, you've got more than most people have. Why do you want to throw that all away? However, when I did actually told them I was going to do a YouTube channel on the other hand, and I spoke to those same people, even my mother, she said, go for it, son. You'll be really good at it. Really put your heart into it. You have a gift. Now, I had a gift on trading, but because of the fact that 25 years ago, nobody had the same energy and enthusiasm, they were all in the same mindset of how to control society, and as a result of that, didn't give me any positiveness. My family are very positive. They're very nice, they always encourage each other. However, in that instance, they didn't. Whereas now, at my age, I'm going to tell them I'm going to do YouTube, and you'd think that I'd get the same response, but I didn't, because things have changed, times have changed. And you have to embrace those times yourself and not just think in a two-dimensional way, and not even a three-dimensional way. You have to think in a 12-dimensional way, because you have all the opportunities in the world to do whatever you want. Hence why I'm telling you this story of the one thing that I did in my life which showed me that I could do anything that I wanted to do. So I became a trader. I quit my job and I started trading for myself. Now, when I was trading and I had a job, it was a different experience because I had a fixed income coming in, and so as a result of that, when I traded more risky, I traded with more sort of panache and sort of like energy, because when I was selling and I was getting money, then I was using that money, and I didn't really mind if I lost the money because of the fact that I would still get more money from my day job. When I started trading by myself, of course, it was a whole different matter. Now it was, okay, I've got to now set the parameters of, being disciplined. So therefore, waking up in the morning by myself. There was no one to sort of speak to or tell me to wake up. So if I wanted to sleep in all day, I could, but I wouldn't make any money. Also, unlike working for another company trading, I'm trading with my own money. So therefore, that adds another psychological barrier as well. So now when I'm sitting down, I'm trading, I'm not making the money I used to, I'm feeling under pressure, and I'm not enjoying it as much because I'm going through this learning process that I've discussed with you before in terms of the goal and the vision is there and it resonates with me. However, I have to go through a whole journey in order to achieve it. To cut a long story short in that way, what I want to say is that 9/11 happened and unfortunately the planes hit and I was going up on the market. Now I knew that the US government and also the world were not going to let these people destroy buildings, destroy people's lives and also destroy the economy. So I knew in my heart of hearts that one way or the other, I don't know how they were going to do it, maybe pumping money into the economy or building up people's spirits to say, come on, let's invest in the country. They were going to prop up that stock market. So what happened was that when the stock market closed for a week or a few days, and then when it reopened, I was going up, so the market went down. So I went up again, it's called averaging out, and the market went down on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I went up, 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 up. Eventually on Friday, I was so stressed, it was most probably one of the most stressful times in my whole life. I don't really get too stressed if I'm being honest, because I'm quite level-headed. I couldn't take the pressure anymore because I had lost basically £350,000. I had another £30,000 to my name, and that £30,000 would allow me to pay for my mortgage for 1 year without having to go to my mum or anybody else to ask them for money. So because of the fact that I couldn't afford mentally to lose that money and go ask people for money, I basically wrote a check out to IG Index and sent it off and cut all my positions. On Monday, the market went up. On Tuesday, the market went up, and it kept on going up. Even with that £30,000, I couldn't come back into the market because I was afraid. And if I had just stayed over the weekend, in about 3 weeks, I would have made £1.5 million. Equivalent today would be about £6 or £7 million. I lost about £1.5 million in today's money. That was all my money, everything I'd saved up for, everything I'd worked hard for. But not only that, my pride was affected, but I did do something that I loved. I did do something that I really wanted to do from when I was 10 years old. However, what did I learn from that experience? That everything's a journey. It doesn't matter if you succeed or you lose. If one door closes, another door opens. So therefore, what happened was I couldn't get a job in the financial world because they weren't hiring due to 9/11 and the stock market's all going crazy. And also, I couldn't open up my own business, whether it be selling products or anything. So I decided to basically be a real estate agent because they were hiring. So real estate agent, there I was as an agent, and from the first company that I went to, basically Foxtons it was, they didn't give me a job. And I said to them, come on, give me a chance. I'll work for no money. I'll bring my own car. I'll bring my own mobile phone, and I'll work for free. If I sell, I sell. If I don't, I don't. You lose nothing. They said, sorry, sir, your personality doesn't fit in with the managers. That was a lie, by the way. I'll tell you a story why later. And so therefore I went and worked for a rival company down the road. This company wasn't great because it didn't have the stock to sell. So I was taking people here and there, and then I had nothing else to show them, even though I could sell. So I didn't have the product to sell. So then I went back to Foxtons in 3 months and I had an interview. And as I was having the interview and stuff, the lady at Human Resources, because what they do is all the people come in and you wear a name badge, they take a Polaroid of you and they sort of say to you, okay, mingle within the room, and then you're tapped on the shoulder and you have to go for an interview. And what they do is then they do it. So the lady said to me, I've seen you before. I said, yeah, I came for an interview 3 months ago. She goes, you know what? You can't be here. You're only allowed to apply 1 year later. Who got you here? How did you get in here? I said, I called up this guy and he said I could come in. She goes, okay, fine, you're here now, so it's okay, but you shouldn't be here. Luckily for me, I had an interview with the CEO of the company, explained to him what I did, and I got the job. After I got the job, I was their #1 agent for 3 years. And in the first year, as I said to you in another episode, I sold 69 properties. I went up, when everybody would come up and speak to me and say, oh, you're really good at what you do. And the guy who had actually interviewed me and didn't give me the job, I used to walk past him and go, not very good decision, was it? Not very good decision. And I actually asked him, why didn't you give me the job? He said, you weren't enthusiastic enough. And I said, what did you want me to do? Cartwheels? He said, no, but I didn't make a bad decision, and end the story on there. But the reason I'm telling you the story is that even though I failed at my passion, I learned so much from it, and it gave me so much desire and hunger to succeed, that I accidentally fall into real estate, which I have as equal a passion for. Now, don't get me wrong, I still prefer to be a trader if I could, but I would not change anything for what I've done and the journey I've had with real estate. I've met amazing people, I've done amazing sales, I've created great products, and basically I resonate with property, and it's all around you everywhere in the world. So therefore I always see it and admire it and admire the design of it, because of the fact that first I was a real estate agent, then I became a developer, and then an interior designer developer, and then eventually became a landlord. So therefore all the expertise and everything that I'd learned from it, and then once I started investing with regards to my experience on trading by myself with my own money, that helped me to understand how to invest into real estate and what were the good assets and bad assets, what were the downfalls, what was the cash flow required, what were the rental returns included, are you looking for a cash generating business or a growth generating business. So all that helped. But the one decision that I did make, which was the most life-changing for me, was to say to my parents and the people around me that I'm going to be a trader and I'm going to go do it, and I did go do it. Yes, I didn't make money, but ultimately I've made more money than I ever would have done because of the fact that I lost everything. And that lesson of losing everything, but trying, as I said, like the Monopoly example of doing it, experience it, going through the highs and lows. Yes, unlike Monopoly, I had to start again from zero, and yes, it was like a game, but ultimately it showed me that if you still have nothing, you can come from nothing to something. If you learn from your experiences and your passions and stuff. Most entrepreneurs who make money have lost a lot of money. I think Donald Trump went broke, Richard Branson has gone broke, and most people will tell you that, because if you make money continuously, you're either super gifted or you're very lucky. But most people have to make money and lose money, and only once they lose the money that they really get the real true experience and sort of feeling of being down and out in order to regrow and rebrand themselves and get to where they are. If you just make money continuously, unfortunately, in my experience or what I've heard about, is the fact that eventually you're going to have to make a mistake somewhere, and even if you have a $1 billion company, that mistake will then happen at that stage, and then to rebuild from there is going to be more difficult, but at the same time not impossible. Billionaires have gone broke as well and started again. So it's better, I think, in terms of it's better to start early and make those decisions early. So when you're young, make those decisions early. You won't have family to look after or children to look after or a wife there. Make those mistakes early. Make those decisions early to do something that you're passionate about. You're only young. You've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to gain. You don't need a big house. You don't need a big car. Just get on your 2 feet, do what you're passionate about, and then you'll succeed in life and be happy. So learn from my mistakes. I learned from them. Here I am now again reinventing myself, doing these YouTube videos, which I love to do. Again, I'm starting from scratch. I'm doing it all from fresh. And I feel like I'm succeeding in it. I know I'm going to come across stumbling blocks, but the best thing about it is I've got the support of my family and friends around me, and also you guys as my subscribers. So if you've not subscribed, subscribe again. If you haven't, if you are subscribed, please pass it on to a friend. Let me pass on the words of wisdom that I have. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I know everything, but I am successful. I do have a happy life, and I just want other people to benefit from it. Call you later, rate makers.